Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we are on the test server and we're gonna have a look at all the new champions that will be added tomorrow when the fusion for Bamboo's 4-leaf will start. And I gotta tell you, I had a little bit of a look through the people and well, there's some account changes, I'm not gonna lie. There's definitely a few of these ones that can be account changing, they can be massive, and yeah, let's just go through them and talk about it. So there's 9 of them, and obviously some of these rares and the epics will be part of the fusion, so I'm either expecting all 4 of the rares or maybe 1 or 2 only to be part of the fusion. And then when it comes to the epics, again, same thing, it can be both of them or just one of them. So let's jump straight in. Let's start with the one that's at the bottom. So Longsword, 2 rocks, rare, defense based. He has a pretty good defense, you know, low small speed, it's nothing too crazy, decent HP for rare. Let's look at his skills. A1 attacks one enemy, has a 45% chance of placing a leech when booked. Okay, that's not too crazy, but also that's not too bad. Then the A2 attacks all enemies before attacking, places an increased defense on all allies for 2 turns. Is the small version, but still for an AoE can be good. Has a 45, 50, 65% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn. This one's on a 3-turn cooldown, so I guess he would not be an amazing provoke champion, but for an AoE hit to bring a little bit of increased defense can be interesting. Then the passive places the block damage buff on this champion for 1 turn if the incoming damage exceeds 20% of this champion's max HP. Okay, that sounds interesting. Passive counterattacks when hit by an enemy under a provoke debuff. Okay, so this one when book goes down to a 4-turn cooldown. And then he brings ally defense in dungeons by 25%. Honestly, he does not seem amazing. However, the first thing that I'm thinking when I see this one over here is he could have a spot just because of the passive for some unkillable comps. Okay, there are those block damage comps that use either Warcaster or that use Roshguard, Helicath, Alsgor, where you basically take that stun. Usually people would use stuff like Skullcrusher, or you know, if you're desperate you would go and use some other people such as Bushig, Narhon, you know, basically weak sauce champions. However, him being a spirit one is a good alternative to the Skullcrusher that also brings counter attack, but that's one's only for 1 turn. So I feel like this is his first spot, and I might even make a video on this because you know what? He can have a spot there, like I said, with an unkillable comp. Also bringing the increased defense could enable you to use defense-based champions such as, you know, Razen, Gnud, that was a previous fusion. So it's not a big version, but it can still be helpful. I'm definitely going to make a video on this one because I'm curious what damage he also does. You know, he might hit pretty hard being defense-based. Then next one, Patricia Rocktooth. Okay, attack, rare, demon spawn. Again, good speed, some attack. Every other, you know, survivability stats are low, so I'm guessing she might hit a little bit harder. A1 attacks 1 enemy 2 times each hit, has a 20% chance of placing a small version of decreased defense. This one goes to 35% chance if the target is under poison sensitivity. Debuff placed by this champion. It's only by this champion, which is a little bit weird. Each hit has a 20% chance of placing, again, 35% chance of placing the big version of decreased defense. So this one could be interesting. I'm guessing she's definitely going to place poison sensitivity. It's not a big chance, but you know what? It's on each hit, double hit, so you might have a chance to keep the decreased defense out there. A2 attacks all enemies 2 times. Okay, double AoE, potential stun set champion. The first hit has a 75, books up to 100% chance of placing the small version of decreased attack for 2 turns. Second hit has a 75% chance of placing a poison for 2 turns. So I guess it's not good enough of a chance to place the poison, so might not be the dedicated poisoner, I guess. Decreased attack, small version, again, not the craziest, but you know, if you don't have anything else, this can be good being on a 3-turn cooldown. And then the A3 attacks 3 times at random. Each hit has a 40% chance of placing a poison sensitivity for 2 turns. If all hits land on the same target, so for example Clan Boss, also places a poison debuff for 2 turns. Honestly, she seems like a good option or a good replacement for a Frozen Banshee, because normally Frozen Banshee lands poisons on her A1 if there's poison sensitivity out there, so she has the option to actually do the poisons and poison sensitivity and decrease defense on the A1 on her own. Also brings accuracy in all battles. You know what? She might be the new Frozen Banshee. That's why I see her. New Frozen Banshee, and, you know, kind of like the improved one. Not as many poisons, but poison sensitivity, decreased defense. definitely a good one. Definitely a good one, which again, I think I might have to make a video on her as well for Clan Boss. Now, meet Carver Tolog. That's a massive horn. That's a massive horn. Okay, let's see what he's up to. HP, okay, low speed, good HP. A1 attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit heals the champion at 2% of their max HP. So 4% heal, nothing too crazy. A2, 4 turn cooldown, increased defense on all allies for 2 turns and continuous heal. Not too bad, but you know, not too good. Again, I would not build him for Clan Boss because of this one. A3 revives an ally with 30% HP and turn meter, places continuous heal on the revived ally for 1 turn. 4 turns cooldown. So I guess this could be interesting for Faction Wars, but again, it's only single target. However, the only other reviver is Hofferus. So if you don't have Hofferus, he might actually be a good option in case you need a reviver in order to beat the Faction War. So, you know, it can be good. If he's part of the fusion and you still need to do the Skinwalkers, but you don't want to grab the legendary, you might want to keep him. Then passive, whenever a continuous heal buff placed by an ally from the Skinwalker faction expires, is removed or is stolen, places a small version of continuous heal on that ally for 1 turn. Okay, if there are multiple champions on the team with this skill, only one will activate. Well, this sounds amazing. This sounds like he's going to be a reviver for Faction Wars, and then he's just going to always pump out continuous heals, right? Because it says if it expires, it just replaces with this one. That's not bad. So you're guaranteeing with him to have 22.5% heal on that on your champion every time they get it done. Again, pretty interesting one. Like compared to other stuff that we've seen that they were pretty bad, he seems to be pretty good, especially because, like I said, he has a good base HP. He could be really good for Faction Wars. Then we have the Void one, Selenia Nightcloak. She looks amazing. She looks amazing. That's definitely awesome. Okay, attack based, 100 base speed, decent attack. Again, low survivability stats, attack based champions. What do you expect? A1 heals the champion by 10% of their max HP, heals the champion by 20% of their max HP instead when attacking a target under HP burn. Okay, that's a pretty decent heal on an A1, so she can basically keep herself alive. A2 attacks all enemies, has a 65% chance of increasing the duration of any HP burn debuff by 1 turn. That's not bad. AoE hit with a 3-turn cooldown, she could actually be interesting for Hydra, you know. She's a rare, but she could be interesting for Hydra. Then the A3 attacks 3 times at random before attacking, places a small version of increased accuracy on this champion. That's good. Again, if we're talking about Hydra, you can build her with less accuracy, and this can help. Each hit has a 75% chance of placing an HP burn debuff for 2 turns. This is pretty good. You know what? This is pretty good for a rare, you know, for early game Hydra, when you're talking about normal and hard. Usually the HP burn is the one that does more damage. So having her be your HP burner might not be a bad idea. You know, you might have Artak, but you could still pair her with Artak because Artak activates those HP burns while she can extend them on the A2. Again, Artak can extend them on his A1. That's not bad. Then passive, boosts his champion's turn meter by 5% each time an HP burn debuff is activated. Okay, so she can rotate through her skills pretty fast. This one makes her not be viable for Demon Lord, unless, you know, you take into consideration that only one takes and then she's the one in the order. Could work, but apart from the HP burn, she doesn't bring anything else for the Demon Lord. So, you know, first thing that I'm thinking is Hydra. Then maybe early level Spider, not too good. Might be good for Sorath. Sorath is another spot you need HP burns. You know, the Frost Spider, and boosting your accuracy can help, because the higher you get in the Doom Tower, the more accuracy you need to place debuffs. Again, this one's on a 4-turn cooldown, so not the best, but she's a rare. You know, for a rare, that's pretty good. Now look at Melkit Bloodflock. Damn. This guy looks amazing. Honestly, when I look at him, the first thing that I think about is, for those of you that watch One Piece, he looks like one of the 4 generals of the Revolutionary Army. The one that's obviously all about the crows and the birds. So he definitely gives me that vibe. So Spirit, support from Night Revenants, good speed, good survivability stats, so he's pretty decent. A1 attacks one enemy, has a 70% chance of stealing 1 random buff from the target. So again, first thing that you think is Hydra. Then A2 attacks all enemy, has a 100% chance of decreasing the duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn. Okay, and then 100% chance of increasing the duration of all ally buffs by 1 turn. This one goes on a 3-turn cooldown, so he seems like another option of a buff extender. There's not too many in the game that do this. There's what? Godseeker Aniri, Sandra Survivor, Anchorite, I'm talking like epics or below. Obviously there's some legendaries, but then there's talking epics, then there's Valerie, and then there's Hellborn Sprite. So you know, let's see, does he bring something else that can be helpful for clan boss? Revives 2 random allies with 30% HP and 30% turn meter. Also places a shield on all revived allies for 2 turns equal to 30% of this champion's max HP. It's 16,000, not that high, but still that's good. That's pretty good. But, you know, he doesn't bring anything else for the Demon Lord clan boss, so unless you're desperate, you would not use him. Because, you know, you'd rather use a Valerie because she brings a bit of a shield. But having a second reviver for Night Revenant is good. Because the only one that we have right now is Rector Draft, and she has a 1 target revive. He has 2, could be good. Accuracy, infection increase by 50. I don't know. He doesn't seem as impressive. But again, if you need a revive and need a buff extender, he could be your guy. So not too bad, not too bad. Then Pan the Bowhorn. Okay, again, they always do a smashing job with the Sylvan Watchers. This just looks amazing. Force Affinity attack champion from Sylvan Watchers, 100% speed, good attack, low HP is pretty good actually, but good attack for an epic. That's really good, close to 1500. Let's see what he's up to. Attacks one enemy 2 times each hit, has a 50% chance of placing a freeze debuff. Okay, that's not bad. Will ignore 50% of the target's resist if the target's speed is equal to or less than this champion's speed. Okay, that's nothing too crazy, but it's not too bad. I guess this could be good for Hardfire Knight or maybe some waves, but you know, just single target hits for waves, freeze, you don't care that much. The only spot, like I said, that I see this is the Hardfire Knight. A2 attacks all enemies before attacking, places an increased attack and increased speed buff on this champion for 3 turns. And then it's on a 3-turn cooldown. This one, this seems to be the theme with the Sylvan Watchers. It seems like almost every epic buffs their attack and buffs something else before they go. So this guy is not an exception, but he has an AoE hit. So depending how hard he hit, he could be good. The only problem I have is he's the same affinity as what's his name? As Daithi, okay? So I wish he was something different for the nukes. But yeah, this one we have to see on the multipliers how hard he hits. Then the A3 attacks one enemy 3 times each hit, will ignore 10% of the target's defense. Okay, that's not bad. Each hit also has a 100% chance of placing a true fear debuff for 2 turns. Again, this does not work for bosses, so not too impressive. Will ignore 50% of target's resist if the target's speed is equal to or less than this champion's speed. Okay, if the target is the boss, that's good, I like that. Has a 100% chance of placing a weakened debuff for 2 turns. Instead, will ignore 50% of the target's resist if the target's speed is equal to or less than this champion's speed. It's on a 4-turn cooldown, it's a triple hit, ignores some defense, so he could be your weakened champion, I guess. But he puts increased speed on himself, so that this will make it hard to tune for the Demon Lord. I'm not sure whether I would use this guy. Leave it in the comments below. What do you think you would use him? Just for I don't know, maybe just for Hardfire Knight to bring the weaken and bring a chance to land as freeze, but you know, it's just not enough, and also boost his own speed. If this was AoE, we would have a champion, but because it's only himself is not too good. Increase ally speed in dungeons by 20%. Again, I'm not impressed. I'm not gonna go through bamboos for these skills because I already made a video on that, and you know, I already gave you guys my opinion. And now it's time for the creme de la creme, okay? It's time for the Void legendaries. Togron the Conjoined. He looks like the Goblin, apart from the fact that he has a second head in here. He looks like the Goblin from the Hobbit, you know, the one that's from the first Hobbit video. The Goblin King, basically. He has some funny animations. And again, pretty sick, you know, pretty sick looking skin. That's awesome. So, support legendary, 110 speed. Wow, that's crazy speed. That's massive speed. Let's see what he's up to. Attacks one enemy, has a 30, 40, 50% chance of applying buff spread effect, taking 1 random buff from each ally and placing it on all allies. Holy damn. That sounds crazy. I know it's a 50% chance, but that sounds insane. Like you could have your buffs on all the time. Damn, this is a God tier A1. That's what I'm gonna say. This is a God tier A1. This is just crazy. I love this one. Put him in a retaliation set or bring counterattack with him and you're gonna have buffs all the time galore everywhere. Damn, that's awesome. Let's see, the A2 heals all allies by 20% of this champion's max HP. 21k, that's good. So that's a good heal. Places an increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns. Also places a continuous heal buff for 2 turns on all allies whose current HP is below 50% after the initial heal. Okay, so you're guaranteeing a 3-turn cooldown heal and increased speed. It's nothing too crazy, but you know, can be good with the continuous heal to keep you alive. I'm thinking Hydra, because any other spot where you would use the increased speed and stuff like that, you know, dungeons, not really, maybe faction wars obviously, but we're not going to talk hopefully about the Void Legendary just to be good for faction wars. A3, again, Brothers Generosity. I haven't read the names. You guys can read the names. This one, again, 3-turn cooldown, increases the turn meter of all allies by 20%, and places a 50% increased accuracy buff on all allies for 2 turns, then removes all debuffs from all allies. Okay, this guy is straight up a Hydro champ. That's what I'm thinking. Because he puts increased accuracy, he puts increased speed on the A2, he cleanses all the debuffs, he boosts the turn meter, he spreads all the buffs around for you. This might make it hard, though, to keep a mischief tank. But, you know, it might still be interesting. You might have to use him in a high resist team where everybody has high resist, or bring an A with decreased accuracy. He's interesting, but he's not that god tier, I guess. He's you know, he's not game changing as some of the rest. Then passive increases the champion's max HP by 10% every time they use an active skill. Stacks up to 50%. Wow. That's a lot. Reset each round, so against bosses like Demon Lord, like Hydra, you're gonna get 50% more HP, which is huge. Also increases each ally's max HP by 5% every time they use an active skill. Stacks up to 50%. Now that's insane. That's a ton of damage. So if you're thinking about Hydra specifically, you're basically not gonna have to worry about your squishy nukers not having enough HP or defense, you know, not being survivable enough if you have him. He's just gonna boost their HP to the max, he's gonna give them turn meter, increase accuracy, cleanse them, bring increased speed as well, and heal them, plus keep, you know, spreading those buffs. He kind of seems to me like a Hydra specialist. I might have to test him in Hydra for sure. And then increases ally speed by 20% in all battles. Okay. It's pretty good. Again, not god tier, but he's definitely, you know, pretty good. Now, last one, Vitreous the Anointed. He just looks awesome. He looks awesome. Again, as always, they're doing an amazing job with the skins, with their visuals. That's insane. Okay, let's see. Vitreous the Anointed, attack-based Sacred Order. 1700 base attack. Oh my god. Oh my god, I think there's like only 2 or 3 champions that have higher base attack than him. One of them that I think of is like Bystophes, but he has bad multipliers, so let's hope that he doesn't have the same situation where his multipliers suck. But that base attack is insane. 100 base speed is good, low defense, so I'm expecting him to hit really hard. Let's see, A1. Attacks one enemy 2 times. The first hit heals this champion by 30% of damage inflicted. That's good. He can keep himself alive. The second hit has an 80% chance of placing a fear debuff for 1 turn. Good enough, I guess, but nothing too impressive. If the target is a boss, okay, I like that. The second hit has an 80% chance of placing a decreased speed for 2 turns. So I guess if you're talking about, like, I don't know, Iron Twins or the Fire Knight, or again, Hydra, it kind of seems like they keep releasing stuff for Hydra. For Hydra, he can be amazing with this one. Decreased speed is awesome. But if he's gonna smack, this might be bad for Arena, because if you land debuffs, you get polymorph, so you know. Let's see, the A2 attacks all enemies before attacking, removes all increased defense, ally protection, and strengthen buffs from all enemies. This effect cannot be resisted. Oh my god. Again, it's scary because if he removes stuff, he can be polymorph, so he does not get a chance to hit. But if he doesn't, on a 4-turn cooldown, AoE will also ignore 30% of each target's defense, boost his champion's turn meter by 30% for each enemy alive after the attack. This sounds crazy. So for Arena, this sounds amazing because it removes a lot of the, you know, key survivability buffs. Does not remove Stone Skin though, but at the same time, the scary thing is if he removes stuff, he can be polymorph. So, oh man, I wish he just did not remove them, just ignore them. I wish he just ignored increased defense, ally protection, strengthen, and then also ignoring defense. That would make him better. Like this, he can be polymorph, so he's not going to be as good, unfortunately. Damn. I really thought this was going to be awesome. Then the A3 attacks one enemy 2 times. The first hit destroys the enemy's max HP by 25% damage dealt. Cannot destroy a single enemy's max HP by more than 75%. If the target is a boss, destroys max HP equal to 35% of the damage dealt. I mean, apart from the scatter boss and maybe faction wars, I don't know what this one you would care that much. I don't know, like max HP, destroying max HP is nothing too impressive in the game for other areas. The second hit will ignore 30% of the target's defense if they have no active skills on cooldown. So if they have no active, so basically if he gets a turn and they all have their active skills ready to go, he's gonna ignore 30% more. If the target has active skills on cooldown, ignore 50% instead. Okay, this sounds crazy. Then ignore shield, unkillable, and block damage. 3 turn cooldown. Okay, this is a good hit. Again, hopefully this one hits really hard. It can be pretty impressive. This one can be really awesome. Again, doesn't ignore stone skin, other stuff, so he might be a good counter to, like, you know, Leoris's, and maybe even against Helicast, because it seems like the arena meta for endgame is like lots of Helicast with block damage and, you know, lots of annoying stuff like that. Okay, we have a champ, and then passive. Instantly resets the cooldown for one of this champion's random active skills whenever an enemy increases the cooldown of any of their skills. Wait, what? Let's read that again. Instantly resets the cooldown of one of this champion's random active skills, so day 2 or day 3, whenever an enemy increases the cooldown of any of their skills. So basically if you get lockout by Yumeko or Warlord, you just straight up reset one of the 8 or day 3. Grants an extra turn if this skill's cooldown was reset. What? Grants an extra turn if a skill's cooldown was reset. So does this mean like if you have a Kaimar or a Painkeeper or Renegade that resets his cooldowns, he gets another turn. After granting an extra turn, places this skill on cooldown. So then this one goes on a 5-turn cooldown. That sounds interesting and complicated. Then let's see, there's some more obviously. Will also grant an extra turn if an ally, mastery, artifact set, or accessory decreases the cooldown of any of this champion's skills. After granting the extra turn, places this skill on cooldown. Well, that sounds interesting. This kind of sounds like a, I don't know, a relentless type passive. This is interesting. This is something that definitely wouldn't require some playtesting, but at first look, I'm just thinking he's gonna be good for arena, anti-warlord, and Yumeko. And at the same time, there might be some interesting stuff with him in the Relentless or in Reflex if you have good enough Reflex. Because he's just going to keep getting extra turns. And then every time he does this, if he doesn't kill stuff, he gains more turn meter. So he looks like he's going to be going a lot. Also increases ally crit rate in battles by 24%. I don't know, he seems awesome, but at the same time he seems bad because of the A1 and A2 that can trigger polymorph. What do you guys think? I'm really curious. Those of you that play, you know, in the endgame arena, leave it in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think this guy is going to be the new meta for arena? Do you think he's going to squeeze in there? Or do you think he's just going to be trash because, like I said, A1 and A2? But still, there's some pretty interesting champions. You know, all of these ones, it seems like all of them kind of have a spot into the game, or definitely would come into one of those teams, especially if you're progressing through the game. But anyway, I'm gonna leave it at this for today. Like I said, I'm gonna make some videos even on these rares that seem interesting for clan boss, and then if you want any of the other ones for me to test in certain areas of the game, leave it in the comments below, and I can make a video on them, testing them in specific areas. Like for example, you want to see Togron in Hydra, just let me know and I'm gonna do that. Anyway, this is gonna be it for the video today, guys. As always, if you do enjoy my content, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel to see when I upload next, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care everyone. Bye guys.